Well, hello and welcome to Shine On, the Health and Happiness Show. I'm Casey, very happy to be back with you again today. And I have to start the way I always start, and that's thanking the cast and crew. The crew today on camera one, Jim Brooks. Thank you, Jim. Back in the control room, Mike DeLuca and Joseph Pisano. Thank you, guys. And my sister Maria, who always shows up and makes things look pretty and pours the tea. Thank you, one and all. Today, very special guests and dear friends, Debbie Aglietti and Randy Patterson, or Randy Patterson and Debbie Aglietti of Northeast Doulas. Hello, doula ladies.
Hi, we're so excited to be here.
Hello, Casey.
This is fun. This is fun. We've spoken to each other in many different ways, on the radio, at your diaper drive, out in the sunshine. Now we're in the studio, and I see you've brought some props.
We have indeed.
Before we get to the pelvis on the table, which is a sentence I've never said before, please explain to everyone the bumper sticker version, the elevator speech of what a doula does.
Absolutely. So the word doula is from the Greek language, meaning a woman who serves another woman. The capacity that we use it in here in the U.S. is a woman serving another woman through pregnancy, birth, and the early postpartum period. So we provide physical, educational, and emotional support to birthing families throughout the pregnancy, during the birth itself, and shortly after they have the baby.
Okay, so how many doula births do you participate in, or does your company participate in, say, in a year?
Lots. I would say probably 15 births a month.
Wow.
And lots of families hire us just on the postpartum side when they come home with a new baby. So some of our clients hire us for birth and the postpartum period, some just for birth, some just for the postpartum.
So I never heard of doulas until 6 years ago. Honestly,
when you met us.
When I met you. Actually, I met you 1 year after I heard of doulas, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what a doula is. But my girlfriends hired a doula for their childbirth, but it was after the baby's born doula to come home with the mama and help with the baby. I'd never heard of it before. So is this an old thing? It's a new thing? It's an old thing that's new again? Like, how did it become popular again?
Yeah, take it away, Debbie.
Well, I think it's always been popular, but it can be confusing because sometimes people associate it as a baby nurse, where people, a baby nurse will come and live in your home for a period of time and really kind of take the baby with them and not really teach the parents. And what we're there to do is to really educate them. So we want to, walk them through their first bath, help them to swaddle their baby, help them really learn those early cues. A lot of moms have trouble with breastfeeding, so we're there to support through those sessions. Oftentimes we do overnight care so that the parents can rest and the doula can, tend to the baby as well as bring the baby to the mom if she's breastfeeding. And like tonight, I think we have 3 of our doulas doing an overnight, and we had 4 doulas out during the day today.
So Northeast Doulas, which is here in Peekskill, you got a pretty big staff.
We do.
And your doulas are out doing their doula thing.
That's right.
I never heard of doulas growing up because I'm Italian. And we had relatives everywhere.
Sure.
We didn't have doulas. You called Aunt Rose, you called Grandma. You didn't have to call because really, where I grew up, the neighbors lived all around you. They were your relatives. They would just come in. Like, we seriously had to put bells on the door.
Sure.
So you knew when a relative was in the house. So I didn't grow up with this whole idea of a doula, but I love it, especially as a woman. For any stage in my women friends' lives, I want to be there. Yeah. I want to help. I want to rub their back. I do not want to see them having a baby, though. So, I'll, cheer from the other room. What was the first birth that you both attended? Do you remember? And were you together?
Well, we weren't together. I've been a doula for 20 years. And I just want to say, I think, we're talking about this in a very casual way. Having a baby is like the #1 most monumental, life-changing experience for a woman. And I don't think we give a lot of credit to that transformation.
Right.
We're like, oh, she was this really cool chick, and now she's somebody's mom.
Right.
Like everything about who you are changes when that happens. I got to witness my first birth right here at Hudson Valley Hospital, New York Presbyterian now, but at the time it was Hudson Valley Hospital. And I worked as a perinatal technician, and I worked at the birth cottage at Hudson Valley. So, so I got all my training with the amazing obstetricians and midwives and nurses right here at our local community hospital.
Shout out to my mom. She opened that birth center. Did you know that? My mom, Jane Marbito, she's retired now in Florida. She was, I don't know what, vice president of something or other. And she traveled all around looking at other birth cottages before they put that one up.
Well, that's where I started. I knew we had a connection.
That's the thing. So that was 20 years ago you witnessed your first birth there. Did you know the person giving birth?
No. She was a patient that walked into the hospital.
Okay. How about your first birth?
Well, I did know. She was a friend of mine, and, you know, I was anxious to kind of get my career started, and I asked her if she would be comfortable with me attending her birth. And it was mind-blowing. I mean, to watch, well, first of all, we were friends, so I watched her through her whole pregnancy. She turned to me for support with any kind of questions she had. And then come Labor Day, she... funny story, her water broke while she was in the swimming pool.
On Labor Day?
No, it was actually the 4th of July.
Okay.
Labor Day meaning the day.
No, I understand. So,
sorry.
Oh, I thought you meant Labor Day.
No, I thought it was just a crazy coincidence.
I thought that was a pun.
No. We're laughing because poor Debbie struggles with axioms and aphorisms.
If that's what they are,
things like
Casey,
calling the pot, calling the kettle black.
That's right.
And, you know,
sure.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah,
she mixes
foot.
them up.
I would have said foot for sure. But anyway.
So she had her water broke on the 4th of July.
In the swimming pool.
And the next day was her Labor Day.
Correct. Okay. We'll say that. So anyway, she called me, and she was in the shower or something like that. And she's like, I don't know if it broke. And I said, can you get out of water so we can like really figure this out? In fact, her water did break, and, you know, she went to the hospital. We labored all night long, and she brought this beautiful baby into the world, which I will never forget. Similar to the way you don't forget your own experiences. And, you know, I mean, there was a study of women who had Alzheimer's disease, and they couldn't remember anything, but they could recall their birth like
when they gave birth.
Absolutely.
Wow.
They could remember that, but they couldn't remember their children's names, all that kind of stuff. But that's how powerful birth is.
We are talking to Debbie Aglietti and Randy Patterson. Debbie, Randy. We are talking about doulas and motherhood and everything that goes along with it. Northeast Doulas right here in Peekskill. You have a staff out there tonight assisting moms and babies and birthing families.
Correct.
I'm not going to have any babies.
Okay.
That ship has flown.
Sailed.
Sailed. But if I were to have a baby, I wouldn't want either of you in the room with me.
Fair enough.
How? I mean, I would have to, I don't even want doctors. It would just be so private.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right? Because that's like who I am, oddly. How do you pick a doula? How do you choose who's going to be with you at this time when your hormones are raging and sometimes, you know, you're screaming at your own partner?
Yeah. Right. It's such a great question. This is the best question because, I mean, step one is to decide that you want a doula, that you want additional support. And some people just know, like, when they're experiencing something difficult, they want encouragement and they want someone to look deep in their eyes. And the truth is, our partners are great at a lot of things, and not in every case is your partner great at labor support.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't want them there, just means you know what you need, and you need a little bit more than your partner can provide, and that's okay. Once you decide that you want to have a doula, then it's time to start doing some research. You hop online and you look for a business that looks like a business. You want to be really careful. You know, anybody can call themselves a doula. There's no state licensing for doulas, so anybody can take an online course or not even and just say, I'm a doula. So you want to look for somebody who looks like they've invested in their business. You're looking for a website that looks well established. From there, you make a phone call or you shoot an email and you see what kind of a response you get. Do they respond to you quickly? Do they respond to you professionally? Once you've made phone contact or email contact, the next step would be to set up a meeting in person. And the best thing I can say for how to choose a doula is, did the person you meet with make you feel better at the end of the meeting than you felt before? I don't think that the amount of experience somebody has as a doula should determine whether or not they're a good doula for you, because I've attended over 1,000 births, but I've never had a baby with you. And I don't know what your experience is going to look like. So my experience supporting Debbie does not contribute to my ability to support you.
Get that. Right.
So it's really about do we jive? Do we connect? Do you feel like, you know, birth is a pretty intimate experience, sometimes more intimate than how the baby gets in the person. I'm just saying.
Okay, got it. I had to think about that for a minute, but I'm back with you.
So,
got it. Sometimes more intimate than that, right?
It is. It's it's a life-changing, monumental experience in many cases.
What I love about what you do is birthing can be in a sterile hospital environment.
Sure.
But doulas can make that fabulous. You can soften the edges and warm it up and bring in good vibes. And now, when people have babies, there's hot tubs and all kinds of things.
You better believe it.
Do your clients have special requests, like for special music or special scents?
They do. We have a client, we've had more than one baby with this family, and when they have a baby, her partner's, her husband's family lives in Texas. And they send a Tupperware container filled with dirt, soil. They put it under the birth bed in the hospital.
Texas dirt under the bed.
They want their children to be born on Texas soil.
That's so sweet.
And it's just something that, like, it's a memory. It's a memory that they're creating for their children. It's unique to their family, and it's so beautiful that we get to be part of these, like, life moments with people.
Because these kids, you know, they'll grow up and go anywhere in the world, but they know when they were born, their ancestors loved their line so much.
Exactly. Isn't that cool?
It's great because everybody has a birth story.
Yeah.
And you know, we usually don't hear about them.
It's really true. Do you know your own birth story?
I only know it because it was really unusual, and I was named after two nuns. One who had passed away at the age of 16. You come back and we'll share that story.
I would love that.
But I do, but I didn't learn it until it was I was of an appropriate age to understand it.
Sure.
But I would love for kids to grow up knowing how cherished and how expected and how so many people were just agog waiting for their presence in the world.
Totally.
Don't you think kids would grow up with such a great sense of self-esteem if they knew how much they were loved and wanted and how many people were waiting for them here?
Yes, Casey. And the other thing that might happen from that is we might take some of the fear away from birth for people. Every generation comes up hearing about how terrifying and painful birth is, and how, you know, comedians mock birth, and everybody makes a joke about birth, and it contributes to the fear associated with birth, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think what we do as doulas is we normalize the birth process.
Right.
We remind our clients, like, hey, your body's doing exactly what I would anticipate it to do right now.
I would imagine at Northeast Doulas, you have to educate yourself a lot and often.
You bet.
Especially like women's hormones are crazy go nuts at this time. You have to know this, right? You have to know what to expect.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So now educate me.
Okay.
Take me through all your little props and show me what's going on over here and what you use these for.
Well, I think the best thing that we use them